Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long boys blues, 1975. Using girls on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long boys blues, 1975.
Hey YouTube, Longboys Post 1975, and welcome to the first nostalgic memories of video of 2020. Apologies if I sound all croaky and crap and possibly cough during this because I am sick. Again, I mean, seriously, body, we have this deal which is I'm only sick once a year, and you can hammer me during that time because it's once a year. Although I guess it's 2020 now, so... Ooh. Smart body, you bastard, smart body. Anyway, sorry, never mind that. You've read the title. Nostalgic memories of when I was a PC gamer. Because I've alluded to owning PCs a few times, such as in my DVD video, or DVD player memories of video and things like that. And, you know, talks about when playing gameplays of Quake and stuff like that, that I love GL Quake and things like this. And a few people have picked up on this and said, I mean, you obviously played PC a reasonable amount at some point. Were you a PC gamer? Because people mostly know me as a console gamer, and I've done 2 vlogs on why I prefer consoles to PCs. Now, anyone out there who's a diehard PCer, or, you know, the PC elite or whatever and stuff like that, I'm not harping on that. I'm not bashing it. I'm just saying it's not for me. And this video will go a little way to explaining why it is. I'm sure it's far superior. I'm sure on the right hands, if you're tech savvy and you know where to buy it and stuff like that, it's not even that expensive. But to me, it's not my thing, and it came from when I was a PC gamer for about maybe 4 years. Yeah, I know. Who knew? My history with PCs is simple. We never had them in school. When I was at secondary school, and I left secondary school, you know, for further education in 1992, we still had BBC Master Bs, or Micro Bs, in our computer tech lounge. I shit you not. My first experience of PCs was when I was in college, and they do work placement and stuff like that. And I went to my dad's mate's business, who were, you know, they repaired PCs in the basement down below and upstairs. They supported PC software that they wrote themselves in-house, sort of like accounting packages and car management packages for garages and stuff like that, mechanical garages. And it was all basic and it was all DOS and stuff like that. But I was down in the warehouse, and all the people who worked there were essentially kids. And so they were all big into PC, and because of this, you know, the discounts they got and stuff like that, they could, you know, build themselves decent PCs. And we're right at the cusp of when PCs started to get, like, interesting and stuff like that. So this is what, 93? I'm guessing? Maybe 94. I'm probably going to say, I don't know, 93 or 94, one of those 2 years. The games I talk about will explain it. So went over their houses at lunch break and stuff like that, the hour lunch break. You know, ate a microwavable pasty, and they showed me stuff. And so I saw stuff like the one that initially blew me away, and then I knew that it was coming out on the consoles and stuff like that, was Rebel Assault. Because you've got to remember, as creaky as it is now, that was mind-blowing back then. And that was like one of the first PC CD-ROM games. But they showed me that, and they showed me Doom and stuff like this, or more importantly, they showed me before that Wolfenstein. And I got a feel for this, because, you know, I was console boy at this point. So pre-PlayStation, Super Famicom guy at this point, which I thought was shiny and fantastic and amazing. But this place opened up my eyes to, you know, PCs, you know, and what they were. Because they were always to preserve things in magazines, and you just knew that they were really, really, really expensive, and they were big tin bin things that you filled with parts. It wasn't until I opened one that I knew what they really, really were. And obviously this is pre-3D acceleration and stuff like that, so still kind of crude and stuff like that, and beeper sound effects, you know, and stuff like Sound Blasters had just kicked in. I'm not an expert, and these memories are a while back, you know, 20 years and stuff like that. So anyway, did that work placement, went back to college, finished my my course and stuff like that. Got a few jobs, and then it's round about, what was this, 1995, when I'm in PlayStation Town with my Japanese PlayStation, and one of my mates got a Dell P90, and started playing around with it. And I was just like, it looks like the PlayStation there or thereabouts, but... and in some cases underperforming, and he goes, no, but we can overclock it and stuff like that. And 95 and 96, so I started to experience stuff like, you know, Doom 2, you know, stuff like Magic Carpet, Terminal Velocity, stuff like this. So I knew there was a viable sort of, you know, games system format I should say, to PlayStation and stuff like that could pretty much keep up with it, or best it or stuff like that, but was far more expensive. So the extra power you got came at a price. And then he started building them himself, and he realised that if you bought all the parts separately from mail orders in the back, excuse me, my throat is dry, from the back of magazines and stuff like that, he could start building computers himself and then sell them on for less than the high street price, but still for a massively inflated price of what he bought the bits. So he started building Pentium. Was it Pentium 1 at that point? MMX, and he built a 166, Pentium 200. Still remember magazines saying Pentium 200 MMX. At last, a machine that's quick enough to defend the Earth from aliens. Oh my God, how far we have come. But I guess it was Windows 95 that made gaming, and then also Windows 98, my favorite ever, second edition, that made gaming more, PC more of a gaming platform. Excuse me. But so he built these machines and stuff like that, and then he started building himself bigger and better ones. But I was still mainly playing PlayStation, but dabbling on this because he became my flatmate later on, but I didn't live there at that point. And then in 1998, 99, so we're getting towards the tail end, still a couple of years in it, before PlayStation 2, the PlayStation's life, I got a job at that company I went and did work experience with. And because it was coming up to the Millennium Bug. Remember that? The Millennium Bug, planes will crash, bank accounts will freeze, all your money will be wiped off the face of the earth. Yes, what an exaggerated pile of shit that was. Basically, because the digit wouldn't tick over and then it would go back to 00, so it would be 0000. And oh my God, the world is going to end and stuff like that. I still say the whole thing was one big fucking scam. I honestly do. But it got me a job where I went to work for this bloke, and I worked upstairs, not in the basement, but it was still the same kid he's working there, which was cool. And I worked upstairs, and so I dialed into people, I can't remember what the program was, but yeah, dialed in on normal modem, and then did all these checks on their system, and if it didn't pass, then the cheeky company I worked for would sell them a computer that would pass, even though they sold them the computer that didn't pass the first time round. I mean, really? And so that was my first job in IT, and it led on to other jobs and ultimately moving to Canada, but it was cool. And so in order to bring me up to speed for this, I had to learn DOS. So yeah, I know. Who knows DOS now? Well, a lot of people do. We were like retro geeky like us. So they gave me a 486DX. It was absolutely crap, and I bought it home. And I was at my parents' house, and set it up on a table in the front hall, and had to learn DOS on it, which was cool. And I still like the fact that I know DOS now, because some people don't. I don't know. Is there a DOS prompt? I'll have to have a look when I go back and try Windows 10 if there is DOS prompt in there either. I don't know. But my mate who was building these PCs came over, and he twiddled with it and made it as good as he could, and then loaded on Quake and stuff, because I just started playing around his house Quake, GL Quake with a 3D accelerator. And this is when, to me, it was like, and this is where I kind of went from PlayStation to PC, even though I was still kind of concurrently playing them both. But any games that I really wanted to play, such as Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, and Pod Racer and stuff like that, I would play on my PC because of 3D accelerator. When I got one that was powerful, jumping a little bit ahead of myself. But so he came around and tweaked this and played with this and stuff like that. I said, that's the best I can give you with Quake. And so stuff like that. Played it, absolutely loved it, learnt DOS. Then all the other people who were also my friends upstairs in this office environment, they would show me stuff like Bleem and things like that. And who remembers NT? I loved NT. NT was fantastic. Millennium was pants. What was the other one? 2000. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Just pretend I'm a smoker. 2000, XP was still one of my favorites, but yeah, we were on NT at this point, and yeah, I loved it. And so we were playing on everything, and they would show me, their houses at lunchtime, all these cool stuff. And around my mate's house, playing all these cool 3D accelerated games and stuff like that. And I was just like, this is fucking amazing. Started playing Fragtown, a fan created level on Doom for online multiplayer, and absolutely loved it. And then you had that thing that would thin out your 56k V90 modem signal, so it wouldn't be so juddery and stuff like that when you were playing online. But it meant that while it was smooth on your end and smooth on the person's other end when you were playing it, and we used to dial my mate who lived literally 4 houses down, by the time he shot them, they may not even necessarily been there anymore, so it wouldn't register a hit. But yeah, I was getting more and more into this. So I said, look, dude, I need to get myself a PC. And he goes, I'll tell you what, I'm about to get rid of my Pentium 200. What was he? He jumped to Celeron, because you could overclock the tits off Celeron, couldn't you? Really could overclock it and get, like an accelerator card in it and stuff like that. And he had from 3D effects ones. I can't remember what the brand, but some of them were getting a bit creaky. And he goes, right, I'll rinse every ounce of power I can out of this 200. Yeah, he overclocked it so much he had to cut a hole in the side and put an additional fan on that had a switch and ran off the floppy power to keep it cool. And I think he got it running at about 233, which is nothing magic, but it meant, and he gave it to me, like gave it to me, and it meant I could play Unreal, because I remember when the first Unreal came out, and I love Quake and love Quake 2 and stuff, but I remember when the first Unreal came out, not Tournament, it was mind blowing, like absolutely fucking mind-blowing. I mean, the game itself wasn't so good, but the visuals and the effects, and obviously so far ahead of PlayStation, and there's no PlayStation 2 at this point, so you got to remember this was a big deal, and we're probably just, are we ahead of Dreamcast at this point when Unreal is out? I want to say yes, and that was it. So that was my first PC. It was, it was probably, I don't know, 80 megahertz, maybe 100 megahertz behind, stuff you could get at that point. But it was good enough for me because it was so overclocked and stuff like that and had an accelerator in it. I forget which one. I started playing it. I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. And then it was 1999 where he was so good at building cheap PCs and stuff like that. I said, look, I was still working at this computer place. What was it? I can't remember what it was. Stafford Computer Technology. I think I still have my work shirt because the nostalgia attached to it. Sadly, it's not there anymore. It was sold. He goes, right. I said, I want one. He goes, I'll tell you what. I'll get you. I think it was a 466 Celeron. Put a Voodoo 3 in it, which was like I just thought was the tits back then, and overclocked it to over 500 or something. And then it took him like 2 days to build it. And I was such a whiny, impatient prick. Like, can I take it home yet? Can I take it home yet? Oh, dude. And then he goes, it's finished, but I haven't finished all the tests. I'm like, no, let me take it. I was such a cock. Let me take it home. Let me take it home. And fine, just fucking take it. But if it crashes and shit and it's not stable, that's on you. And like, it was fine. I think he just wanted to play it for a day or so. Like I said, just to make sure it was all ironed out and stuff like that. It had a CD burner, 4-speed CD burner in it, running off a SCSI. It had a zip drive in it because I had a spare one that someone gave my brother, who gave to me. I put later on put a 6-speed, was I talking about my DVD video, 6-speed Pioneer, not one with a tray when you just push it in DVD player, because it was cheaper to do DVDs through your computer back then. Yeah, like I said, Voodoo 3, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. The games I played, I mean, who remembers Sin? And that's when I first became aware of patching, because Sin was unplayable. The load between level 1 and level 2 was huge until you did this patch. But played that stuff like Indiana Jones in the Infernal Machine, absolutely loved it. Soldier of Fortune, just loved all these things. And we would, we would just go and get them from Electronics Boutique, who had a no quibble money back guarantee. And just go and get them, bring them home, burn them, swap our copies with our mates, take them back, and just say I don't like it. And they couldn't argue. My God, they must have lost so much money. Allegedly, that whole thing. So we just had games coming out the ass. And for, like 8 months, 12 months, up to 12 months, my PC was just like on the cusp of being able to run everything, 3D accelerator, and look lush. And so my PlayStation didn't get a look in whatsoever. And you got to remember, stuff like Winamp was around and I was loving it. And the internet, even though it was 56k V90, stuff like that, was brilliant. Like, as slow as it was then, it was like the first time that the internet was in the true form of the internet. So we kind of really know it now, if that makes sense. And I loved it, the games we played. And so, I remember my brother had a PlayStation. He was playing The Phantom Menace. I liked it, and I liked the movie. Certainly better than the shite that Disney put out. But this isn't about that. And then I showed him it on mine running 3D Accelerator, and I really liked that game. They looked amazing. Pod Racer, Rogue Squadron, because obviously they were on the N64, but on the PC they looked fantastic. And then you downloaded the Naboo fighter and put it in that. And every day or every Friday at work, because they give us an hour and a half for lunch, and it was like non-uniform day or something. Or Casual Friday, non-uniform days, school. And we used to walk to the EB and a few other stores like that and just get these. They must have dreaded when they saw the four of us come down there from SCT. And we just get all these games. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. My PlayStation, I still owned it because of the games that were cheap from the market. They still got a look in now and then with stuff like wasn't on the PC, like Final Fantasy VII, things like that. So, I was still playing it. But anything that was on the PlayStation that was also on the PC, I played on the PC. And then I got used to doing the whole, W, not just using strafe left, strafe right, and backwards on the keys on your hand. You use W instead to free up the mouse buttons and stuff like that. Unreal Tournament, I sank so much of my life into Unreal Tournament. I cannot tell you how much. And then there was the Agent X weapon pack that gave, and then the bots. You put the bots and put the weapon pack in, and then you basically had the guns from GoldenEye. I just sat there and came so many hours every evening after work, just killing bots. With the modded weapon pack, so you could have the guns from GoldenEye. Quake 3 Arena, which it's no Quake 1 or 2, but it was still massively, massively fun. We're in Dreamcast territory now, but I cannot. I was a PC gamer through and through. Spent hours at night surfing the web, very slowly, downloading stuff. I remember when I downloaded, the Star Wars Phantom Menace teaser trailer. That was a big deal. That was an absolutely massive deal. And I was completely and utterly a PC gamer. But then it started getting a bit creaky. And once we got broadband in 2001, it primarily became um, sort of a media machine because it started getting creakier and creakier, and I saw that Andy kept replacing parts in his, and I couldn't be bothered. I'm like, I don't what surely I can get long. I suppose you could argue from 1999 to 2001 before it got creaky and it was too noticeable that you couldn't just drop settings. It still looked way better than the PlayStation, but you couldn't just drop settings to keep up the speed and frame rate and stuff like that. It was noticeably creakier. I think it was the Medal of Honor PC games that I really started noticing it on. And I noticed it was running shiny and fantastic on his. And he was like, just do this, do that. Get a new accelerator card. We'd do this, we'd do that. And I'm like, how much money is that? And he's like, this and that and this. And I'm like, yeah, but and I know this is why I don't want to piss off. Well, I'm just saying my honest opinion. PC, games and stuff like that. This is the difference between you and me and why I want to stick with consoles now, which is I'm like, well, I don't want to. I don't want to. I understand it because I saw the difference between this and the PlayStation. That stuff will get creakier and crustier and stuff like that. But you can accept it on a console because you will know it have this guaranteed period time of support, and particularly on stuff since then, since 360 in this generation, people have gone out their way to rinse everything they can out of it. So the last games towards the end of the system's life, even the entry ones, not the enhanced ones like the Pro and the Xbox One X, started delivering stuff you wouldn't think was possible. So I like that. So the problem was here when these games started getting creakier and creakier. I got a PlayStation 2 and I got it on pre-order, and it blew my PC away and it blew Andy's away at that time. And the games like Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty and stuff like that. I'm like, do you know what? I'm staying with this. I've dropped my money on it. I've modded it. Games are super cheap. I know PC will catch up with it and overtake it. I don't care. This is going to last me years. Who knew how long it lasted? I had systems. I ditched that system and moved on before the technical true end of its life. But that's what made me think I don't want to be a PC gamer. I spent, it's, like I said, I'm not doing it justice because this is just a silly nostalgic memories of vlog. Burning music CDs from Winamp, by the way, though, and LimeWire. That was cool. And maybe allegedly downloading movies. That was cool as well, and TV shows and things like that. But I was really into PC gaming and the whole culture and the multimedia side of it and stuff like the internet, and so I was really, really into it. But I just fell out of love with it when the PlayStation 2 came out, because I probably would have stayed if I was rich and loaded, and not just had an average job like that, because I was still in IT at this point. But what was I on it then in 2001? I think it was on about 18 grand a year, and that's before, and which isn't terrible, isn't brilliant. That was before the tax rates now, which lift me currently now out of tax. So I'm better off now earning less. But yeah, and that was a computer company as well. But even with the that wage, which wasn't brilliant but wasn't terrible, and possible discounts on computer stuff, this isn't for me. I'll just take my preloaded console that will stay in that form I won't have to do anything with and will last for a guaranteed certain amount of time and have a shit ton of software produced for it. I know computers will, and stuff that can't run on consoles. I know that. But the point being, everything that I would want to play would be on that and backward compatible with PlayStation 1 games. Excuse me, windy pops. Better than a hacking cough, I guess. But yeah, there was just this thing in me which meant, do you know what? I accept the limitations of consoles. I like the convenience. I like the fact that it's less hands-on. It's just plug, play, far away. Awkward phrase there. No idea where that came from. Didn't have to constantly open it up. I know, because I can do it now. I know opening up a PC is not a massive big deal or anything like that. And I know you can buy cheap ones now that last for a bit and stuff like that. But it was just that gap between when I had a PlayStation and a PC that was 3D effects, from 3D accelerated. the difference was night and day, and it was fantastic. It was just when the PlayStation 2 came out, and the initial years, it was just a powerhouse, a brute, and just blew everything else away. And then that when my PC was getting crumbly and old. I was like, well, the PC I had then, there were probably a few different models and iterations I had along the way. I just went, do you know what? I'm a console boy. I'm a console boy. So I guess the point of this video is I just wanted to let people know that I was into PC gaming for a bit. I'm not like any of these die-hard people or anything like that. I'm not PC Master Race. I'm not saying that. But, for 4 years or so, I really was into PCs, not just the gaming, all aspects of it. And I loved it. But ultimately, the PlayStation 2 kind of brought me back, gave me a reality check of convenience and, I guess... reduced cost or something like that, or affordability, and weighing up the two and taking a line down the middle. And so you could argue that PlayStation 2 brought me back to never being a PC gamer again. I mean, never say never. If I won the lottery and became stupidly rich, jump on PCs in a heartbeat, absolutely, because I could just hire someone, just go, I don't know what you're going to do with it, I don't care. Here's a large sum of money, little man, and every time I come in the house, this thing better be capable of running the fucking sun. The Star, not the newspaper. Pretty sure could run the Sun newspaper off fucking DX. But anyway, so there you go. I was a PC gamer at one point. I've got nothing against it now. I certainly had nothing against it then because I loved it. But it was the PlayStation 2, I'm kind of repeating myself now, that brought me back to being a console gamer. So who knew? Dave was a PC gamer once upon a time. Anyway, as always, the purpose of these vlogs is to give you a little insight of, memories that I'm nostalgic of, past history and all things, not just nostalgic, but gaming related and tech related. But I mean, did this happen to you? Did you come out of consoling and go into PCing for a while? Are you still there? Did you ultimately drift back for reasons possibly the same as mine? Love to know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you later.